7:30.
An American attack on Iraq is now all but certain, and it could be soon. American math scores, they still don't add up, but they are improving. And Woody Allen goes public again to deny the latest charges from Mia.
I can't wait.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Reporting tonight from NBC News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. George Bush leaves office next week, and Saddam Hussein will remain in power, taunting him to the final hour. It now appears the president, however, is ready to deliver a parting shot. Another Iraqi raid into Kuwait today, a clear violation of UN restrictions and the placement of anti-aircraft missiles in southern Iraq. Enough is enough for the president. NBC's Fred Francis at the Pentagon tonight. Fred, what's the latest there?
Tom, it does look like punishment time for Saddam. The Pentagon has ordered planes and warships in the Persian Gulf to be ready to strike soon.
While the U.S. military in Washington said its final farewell to Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney, more than 18,000 soldiers, sailors, and airmen in the northern Persian Gulf and Saudi Arabia awaited execute orders to attack anti-aircraft missile sites and other military targets in Iraq. Saddam's recent violations of UN resolutions and his clear taunting of the Bush administration have simply been more than the U.S. and its allies can tolerate. The main justification for the attack, mobile anti-aircraft missiles, which Saddam positioned in the no-fly zone 1 week ago. He moved them after a UN ultimatum. Their relocation has not been to the U.S.'s satisfaction.
I would say that they moved them out of the potentially, the hostile array that they had them in. Then we've gone through a sort of a period of movement that we're still monitoring. But in terms of exactly where they went, I'm not sure I want to get into that.
NBC News has been told that U.S. warplanes have been given the locations of targets, mostly in southern Iraq. Sources called it a short target list, just enough destruction to, quote, slap Saddam around a bit, punish him, end quote. The list includes missile sites near Basra in southeast Iraq and near several air bases. They will not be easy targets. During the war, U.S. warplanes had great difficulty finding mobile Scud missiles, which are larger.
Another reason given for attacking Iraq soon, U.S. and UN credibility. One official said, "We can only threaten a fight so many times. It's time now to throw a punch." Tom?
Fred, as we remember in the Persian Gulf at this time of the year, weather is always a factor. How long can they keep this attack operation on active status?
It's hard to say, Tom. Weather is a factor in that region. I'm not so sure it's a factor now. The U.S. has all-weather fighters and bombers. More than anything else, if the United States is going to attack, it's not going to telegraph it. They want the Iraqis to wait as long as possible. And also, at this time of year, so close to inaugural, I'm not sure they want to have an American POW on the hand, so they want to be very careful. So the attack could come at any time, 24, 48 hours, even beyond that, Tom. That's it from the Pentagon.
Thanks, Fred. What's on Saddam Hussein's mind? Who can say? He remains out of sight, but very much in power in Iraq. And NBC's Tom Aspel is in Baghdad again tonight. Tom?
Tom, the Iraqi government is silent tonight. In previous confrontations with the West, it's been defiant, even threatening. But this time, it's saying nothing at all.
There's been no sense of tension here today. Iraq still maintains the U.S. has created this crisis. There has been no rhetoric from the government by which the people can accurately gauge the seriousness of the situation, so no panic buying or hoarding. Baghdad television was noticeably low-key in its evening news broadcast. It showed Iraq's defense minister continuing his visits in the south of the country. That's to tell Iraqis that the government is concerned about protecting its people here, but it's not telling them anything more.
Iraq may be playing for time, hoping to make it through the final days of the Bush administration without being attacked. Tom?
Tom, is there any evidence whatsoever in Baghdad that the people are increasingly unhappy with Saddam Hussein or that he's losing power in any way?
Well, I've seen a lot of unhappiness here, Tom, because the sanctions are really biting, but there is absolutely no indication that Saddam Hussein is not in control of every lever in this country.
Thank you very much. Tom Aspel tonight in Baghdad. And in Somalia tonight, the first combat death there of a U.S. Marine. The private first class was shot in the head tonight during a firefight with Somali gunmen near Mogadishu's airport. No other known American casualties in that firefight. And the tortuous process that passes for peace talks in Geneva, aimed at ending that slaughter in Bosnia, well, tonight there is a glimmer of hope. The most important Serb leader in Bosnia has agreed to terms. This plan would divide Bosnia into 10 sovereign provinces. With all the trouble in the world, Bosnia, the Persian Gulf, Somalia, the last thing you'd expect would be a new arms race. But look to Asia, where China is hardly a sleeping giant. You'll see a lethal buildup these days. NBC's Brad Willis tonight.
American and Japanese soldiers have just celebrated successful war games in northern Japan. But in reality, there's little to cheer about. Defense experts fear that a massive arms race already underway in the region poses a major challenge for President-elect Clinton.
It would be extraordinary if there were not a significant conflict in the next 10 years in East Asia.
Japan is now spending more than $33 billion a year on defense, the third largest military budget in the world. A huge chunk of that money going to buy sophisticated weapons made in the USA. The Japanese worry about America reducing troop strength here, about North Korea trying to build a nuclear bomb. But most of all, the Japanese worry about China. The leaders in Beijing are capitalizing on the collapse of the Soviet Union, buying from cash-starved Russia weapons of mass destruction on the cheap.
It's our intention to sell to anyone, anywhere, just as long as they can pay.
Beijing is buying Su-27s, MiG fighters, and Tu-26 backfire bombers, capable of dropping nuclear bombs within a 2,500-mile range. Even more alarming, defense experts say, China is in the process of importing entire weapons factories from Russia, along with technical experts to run them.
People recently have not been worried about China because they've had second-rate equipment. The new deals with Russia means they now have, in increasing numbers, first-rate equipment.
China is already projecting its power into the South China Sea, laying claim to a disputed little chain of islands called the Spratlys, which lie in the middle of suspected huge oil reserves. Fear of regional conflict has triggered an arms race throughout East Asia, with Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia all rushing to buy the latest weapons.
I can foresee regional conflicts in some parts in Southeast Asia, probably Spratlys, and perhaps even in the northern part too.
And one of the biggest suppliers of weapons in Asia is the USA, even selling F-16s to China's arch-enemy, Taiwan. The American defense industry might benefit in the short run by selling weapons to Asia, but there's a long-term threat to the global economy. Brad Willis, NBC News, Tokyo.
When Nightly News continues in a moment, the bottom line now is looking better for American students and math. And the brave new world of baby food. Mike Leonard tonight on how Gerber is trying to grow with the baby to toddler food. This is not a pretty picture.
We had bought Japanese products 5 times, and over the past 12 months or so, the maintenance bills just got to be out of hand.
So this is your new van?
It sure is. You like it?
Boy, that's something. What is this?
Chrysler Town and Country.
I felt pretty strongly about giving America another chance. Chrysler seems to have really been improving their product, and that was exactly what we wanted.
How you doing?
With over 3 million sold, Chrysler's minivans have been a part of more lives than all other minivans combined.
A short while ago, Carol Walters was troubled with arthritis pain. But she promised Pete they'd go for their run. So she took a Motrin IB, the same medicine as in the Motrin doctors have prescribed for years, but in non-prescription strength. And just one Motrin IB works as well as 2 regular aspirin. So now Carol's ready.
Let's go, Pete.
Pete's been ready for a while. Motrin IB, the relief of Motrin in non-prescription strength.
The numbers still aren't great, but the government's latest report card on mathematics education in American schools is at least a report card that you can take home. More tonight from NBC's Robert Hager.
The square root of 2 squared is equal to 1 squared.
Finally, a test shows U.S. students improve. Math test scores 1990 compared to 1992. 4th graders improve 2%. 8th graders improve 2%. High school seniors improve 2%. So on average, math students are almost a half year ahead of where they used to be, according to outgoing Education Secretary Lamar Alexander.
This is clearly good news. The hard work of the math teachers of America, who over the last number of years have established new standards for mathematics, has begun to make a difference.
But there's a downside, too. Nearly 4 of every 10 students were still behind, unable to master basic math. One group actually did worse from 1990 to 1992. Scores of 8th graders in poor city schools declined 1%. Teachers Union President Albert Schenker.
There have been marginal improvements, but from the point of view of comparing ourselves with youngsters in Germany, Japan, France, England, Scandinavia, anywhere else, we're miles behind, and we've moved up 1 centimeter.
But others said a centimeter's improvement is a start. In this Simi Valley, California math class, Janelle Holtz is working hard because she wants to be an aviator. Ralph Redka wants to be an engineer, and Jamie Kwan wants a career in medicine. Their teacher, Keith Barker, thinks students are changing.
They're more highly motivated now. They seem to be more interested and more dedicated in their studies.
So far,